So they want to ban men from driving. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, and well, someone shared this article with me on the Discord, and I haven't looked at it yet. I just saw the title. I don't know, guys. It's just getting stupid. It's just I need rum in this shine. This is actually full of coffee. You know, I'll record a video quickly throughout the day to kind of break up the work I'm doing, and I guess yell at the screen because of this crazy stuff. So let's look at this here. Oh, come on. So, a controversial proposal would see young New South Wales men banned from driving until they turn 21. So raising the age of driving for men, not women, just men in New South Wales till 21. 21. Oh, boy. Road safety experts say more needs to be done to reduce fatalities by focusing on young men. And, well, it is true. You can get cheaper car insurance if you, well, aren't a young man, to be honest. Did you all remember that guy in Canada who got his gender legally changed for cheaper insurance? A lot of hassle, but hey, recession's coming, tough times are around. You've got to find innovative ways to save money. I'm telling you to fast, to save on food. Other people will legally change their gender to reduce their insurance bills. We all have innovative, out-of-the-box thinking. So, who's proposing this? Some fringe group? Men would be banned from getting a driving license until they're under 21. Until they are 21, under a controversial proposal being made to the New South Wales government. Yeah, anyone can make a proposal. Who's putting this forward? The proposal is one of several being made by road safety experts who say more needs to be done to reduce road fatalities by focusing on young drivers and particularly young men. This comes after 5 teenagers died in a horror crash in Buxton, southwest of Sydney, on Tuesday night. So far this year, there have been 155 male and 48 female road fatalities across the state, according to Transport for New South Wales. That's a fair bit in one state. Between 2011 and 21, almost 3 times the number of men died in road accidents when compared with women. Well, see, this is why normally the birth rate, isn't it, 107 men or male babies for every 100 female babies? That's why it is. We generally die more often than women at most ages. That's evolutionary. I'm not saying it's smart or acceptable. The Australasian College of Road Safety's president, Emeritus Professor Anne Williamson, said drivers under the age of 25 account for almost 25% of crashes in New South Wales, despite only representing 15% of all drivers in the state. Well, you know what? Let's just not stop at 21. Let's up the age to 40. So you can't drive until you're 40. It's okay. You can just rent everyone else's cars. They'll drive you around. Just take Ubers everywhere. The problem with this is they're going to make an argument for ihre sicherheit, for your safety. And they'll strip away your freedoms, rights that you can have. And don't get me wrong, it's sad and terrible that young people are dying in car crashes. And there'll be innocent victims that die because of this. But is the solution to remove a freedom from people? I would argue it's not. I would say this is sadly just part of the risks of living in life. But others are calling for it. And I bet you I think there'd be a lot of Australians that would be happily going, yes, we should do that, yes. We're such a nanny state in this country. The first 6 months of licensing, in particular, people are very vulnerable to crashes. It's not that the road authorities and the policy decision makers aren't aware there are a number of restrictions on inexperienced and novice young drivers, but it's not enough. It clearly isn't enough. She said it made sense to put restrictions on what younger, inexperienced drivers were allowed to do and called on the government to consider more radical action. How are you going to, as a young bloke, having a car, having the freedom to drive around, it used to be, maybe I'm out of date, guys, but it used to be a big, important part of getting a girl. Is that still normal? You actually drive? Do people Young guys in the channel, let me know. Do you actually drive and pick someone up and go on a date anymore? Does that happen? Undoubtedly, some young novice drivers will be better than others. If we can identify those who perhaps are likely to be inherently more risky and limit their licensing, make that a little bit later. I'm sure we could find some statistics that are completely going to destroy a lot of ideological positions for certain demographics, perhaps, maybe certain IQ ranges. You don't allow driving. What do you reckon? Do you think they'll do that? No, we can't. We can't have that. Young males, perhaps, they should be 21 or 22 before they get their license. This is very controversial stuff, but these are all things to think about. Yes, it is. Do we want to restrict the right for men to get a car, a license, freedom, ability to get work? I mean, if girls can drive from a younger age and blokes can't, that's going to have a huge impact on them for their whole lives. Don't they get this? They probably don't care because they're just focusing on road safety. She also wanted the government to consider implementing further training on risk and risk perception. Well, what about all the other... What about other aspects? You know, the risk that women take walking in certain parts at night, certain parts of the city. Safety through environmental design, that needs to be incorporated as well. The University of New South Wales Professor Rebecca Irvis, who leads a global research program focusing on the prevention and management of injury, said it was time to take a gendered lens to policy and prevention efforts. Men are overrepresented in injury from pretty much the time we can crawl. Yeah, that's not going to change. It's no different with driving, and I think we're increasingly understanding that we need to actually start putting a gender lens on that. They do tend to take more risks. Do they think they can actually legislate out biology? Maybe they do. You have to drink more soy every day. No, that's why they're getting rid of the meat. That's why they're getting rid. They want to emasculate all the men. I've been watching too many bloody reject modernity and embrace tradition or embrace masculinity memes and shorts on YouTube. But that's what it is. It's just one step part of that. You know, maybe they inject you with soy. We need to start saying, why is that, and how do we do something about that? She said young drivers were at a high risk due to the brain's development. Well, okay. I honestly think, what is it, both men and women, their brains haven't developed for some time. Maybe we need to restrict voting until your brain's fully developed. People, the Greens want to get voters down at 16. Brain is nowhere near developed then. I think let's go the Romans. Roman times, 31. Ivers wanted to see a whole-of-community approach to road safety. There's a system failure, she said. What about laws? What about the laws, about education, about training, about campaigns? How do we get families and communities involved? As a community, we need to start taking some responsibility. See, this is the thing. This is how they paint it. For your safety. They're taking away your rights for your safety. The problem is it's a very emotional topic, particularly people who have lost someone in an accident like this. That's why you need to be able to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what they're calling for. The New South Wales Premier has sought advice on restricting how many passengers can ride with P-platers after being asked if the state would follow Victoria's lead on such matters. Red P-platers in Victoria can only carry one passenger aged between 16 and 22 unless they're an emergency worker, have a licensed driver next to them, or have an exemption issued by Vic Roads. Bariotti said he would seek advice on the issues. I really don't believe today is the time to be talking about public policy decisions, he said. If there are public policy decisions to be made, we will see. P1 or red P-platers aged under 25 in New South Wales are currently not permitted to drive with more than one passenger under the age of 21 between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. P2 must ensure all occupants, including themselves, are in a seat that has a seat belt. Yeah, well, that's kind of every driver has to do that. It's got nothing to do with your bloody P-plate, doesn't it? you're the one legally responsible for the safety of the people in your car. So let's have a talk about this. This is a group taking advantage of media highlighting a tragic accident, and this is just going to keep happening. Fundamentally, this is a call to remove people's rights. It's going to have significant gendered issues. It's going to be discriminating against young men. It's going to impact their ability to get a mate, to start a career, to have a job, to even get to uni and study. For your safety, what do you think? Should we do it? Should we cut that? Licensing till 21, 22? I don't know. It's never going to be good enough, guys. It's never going to be safe enough. There's always going to be risks to life. That's part of it. You can't be living in this constant safety bubble. You're going to go bloody insane. And the problem here with Nanny State Australia, we just keep piling on more legislation, more bullshit, more rules. And people will just accept it because we're like a little rule nation. We love being nannied. Got to put a stop to it. Guys, check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, for other content I've done, if you haven't already. And if you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, buying our pocket squares, or calling us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Maybe they'll start... You know what? Maybe we need to have OnlyFans permits for men as well, that they can't go on there until they're 35, until their brain's been developed. I bet you they wouldn't want that, would they?